SicEm365 Radio.
This segment on Baylor Athletics on SicEm365 Radio is brought to you by Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, located at the Imperial Drive exit off Loop 340 in Waco. Proud supporters of all Baylor Athletics.
You know, Baylor, in the time they were running early on in the decade of 2000 to 2000 and the time 2010, excuse me, 2 Big 12 titles, winning bowl games. Yeah, there were some heartbreakers along the way as well. They almost in 2015 made a peak at the national title, just like they did in 14. But they had some grown men on the offensive line, some that were recruited, some of them were recruited that were transfers, junior college, and others. One of them, Jarell Broxton, joins us from Maryland and joins us on SicEm365 Radio. You were there for those 2 years, Jarell, and you were there during some quality football at Baylor, the Big 12 title in 14, and then that team that was so close in 15. Can you try to explain the cohesiveness, snaps, and practice that you had compared to the team this year that's had very few opportunities to gain any chemistry right now?
Well, first and foremost, coming out of junior college, it was already different coming into a Division I program. But it was love from the second I stepped in with the O-line. I had guys that were in front of me because I had to earn a spot, helping me with plays, tell me what to expect. And practice was the same routine, and I think it transitioned to the game very well, especially with Coach Clem. I think he's one of the best O-line coaches in the nation. So I think learning from him and learning from guys like Spencer Drango, Pat Colbert, Des Hilliard, and everybody else, Kyle Fuller, it was just a great experience, and we had a great bond, and we usually would try to do things during the week as an O-line for like camaraderie.
Go ahead,
Jarell. What was it about Randy Clements that made him such a good offensive line coach? What was his style, and you know, how would you compare him to others? You know, being why he was so good at what he did.
He was always straightforward with it, and he was big on repetition and being just a perfectionist. And it was always the same thing in practice. In film, he's always on you about your technique and what things you need to fix. And I think he doesn't individualize everybody. I think he just, as a unit, keeps everybody in mold and wanting to work together. And he's just a great guy outside of football as well. And he treats us with respect. He loves us all and loves all the guys that he coached. I think, yeah, go ahead.
Was that Russell Athletic Bowl kind of the orchestra, the opus of everything that you guys did with Randy Clements and the offensive line, being able to line up in the wild bear with no quarterback and just knock those fools back all night long?
We knew going into that game what we had to do, because that year it was good and it was bad. Seeing it, you know, how we was number 2 in the country at one point, and then that same time we was number 2, our starting quarterback gets hurt, and then 2 games later, our second string gets hurt. So then I think with the guys around us, it just helped out. And then I think we had a healthy O-line at the time as well. So with everyone being healthy, going in, playing, we were very confident going into that game that we were going to control the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that was crazy good. What was it, like 600 yards? Johnny Jefferson, that was the peak of his – Jarell's laughing because it's so true. Yeah. I mean, you beat them up. It reminded me in a way of the 2012 team that ended very well when they went to play on the West Coast in the Holiday Bowl. It was the Holiday Bowl in San Diego and ran all over UCLA. I just pounded them. Very similar, one coast, and this one was on the East Coast. What was it like at that time when you were on teams that were so dominant? You guys knew how good you were. It was so close. So you're like a win or two away in those 2 years from playing in the tournament.
It was bittersweet, very bittersweet, because we knew what we had. Even with my first year playing with Bryce Petty, that was a great year. We won a Big 12 championship. Unfortunately, lost in the Cotton Bowl by 1 point. Because of a blocked field goal or something. And then the next year, having Steph there, we were undefeated, halfway through the season. It's just, as a senior, when you expect to be in the national championship knowing you have the team for it and it just doesn't go your way during the season, it sucks. But winning that bowl game was just like the stamp on it. Like, I can end my year with a win in a bowl game against a different conference opponent.
Was that, I know that we talked about how dominant it was, but it had to feel at least relief knowing that you could prove to people that, look, this is still a team that can dominate people, even though, knowing that we didn't have the quarterback that could have put us in the playoff.
Having great coaches and just adjusting to what we have, using running backs as quarterbacks and a wildcat, having fake runs, throw tight ends. It was great to see and just being a part of it as well. But winning that bowl game was very big for us seniors to win that game, leaving Baylor knowing that we belonged. We're in the playoffs.
What was that like when Seth went down?
I didn't even know he was hurt. He came out the game and they said, I came up to the sideline saying that he was hurt. I didn't know what it was. They were saying like concussion because they didn't know. And then finding out, it's just like it was a blower to the season because he started off very hot. He had like 2,000 something yards already, and I think it was like game 5 or 6. And I think he had a Heisman year, honestly, in my opinion. And I think losing our leader, it's a big adjustment, and it was a big blow, and it showed. But I think we had the guys that stepped up. I think Stidham did very well before his injury, and I think Chris Johnson did good as well.
Jarell, your career, obviously, it's not over because you still have some opportunities, but COVID has kind of interrupted some things because of some of the leagues that were trying to get started. Some went belly up, and now there's another one. And then also, you've had to deal with this injury, a torn labrum. Is that from an old injury, or is that because you shared that with me yesterday. When did that happen? How did it happen? And is it kind of something that you maybe had to clean up anyway?
I think it was just a lingering thing. Because I played in the AFL, and I just, I guess when it happened, I just adjusted to it. I took an ibuprofen before games and just fought through it because I haven't played in like a whole year before playing the AFL. And then, I just got it checked out just on some downtime, and then that was the case. And then I was thinking, let me get this done since I'm not having a season. But it's going very well right now. I should be cleared around late November, December, but I'm still playing. Yeah. COVID did interrupt some things, but I think it's just a blessing in disguise, and I think it just gives me more time to train and get better and work on my craft.
Are you still with Winnipeg?
They actually released me 2 weeks before being canceled, but I've talking to like the team rep, and he was just telling me, hey, if we get canceled this season, we'll probably get you back up and sign you for next season. But I plan on doing that or doing the spring league in the spring. I think the spring league is something different this year.
Yeah, most definitely. What's life in Canada like? What's it like playing that style of football?
That would have been my first year playing in the CFL.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I've never been to Canada. It would have been exciting. I have some friends that play in the CFL. I've asked them about like how's everything, how's it up there. They said it's good, it's different. It's way different from there how NFL is, their regular routine. But it's football at the end of the day, and it's something I was looking forward to. I still look forward to. So can't wait to see what's next for me.
Well, Jarell, yeah, and we can't either, man. But I guess it's good. The Rock takes over the XFL now, and they're going to relaunch. And you got the Spring League and the Canadian Football League. I guess if someone's in your position, and certainly there are hundreds and there are thousands of guys that are on any given year, it's good to have options at least, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's really a good thing for guys in my position. If you were an undrafted free agent and you get released after the preseason, there's more to it to get back to camp in the NFL. So CFL, spring leagues, and all these other football things, XFLs, you can get the film to get back to where you want to be to keep pursuing that dream.
Yeah. By the way, Willie Jefferson, who's at Baylor for a little while, is on the Blue Bombers. So if you do get to go back there, there'll be a former Baylor guy there. So
with the Stephen F. Austin, he left Baylor, and and then eventually was at Stephen F. Austin. Sometimes we just take for granted the transfer. Of course, now, my goodness, Jarell, you know how I just saw a story, a guy from Missouri is going to be in the transfer portal. It's almost like breathing. But a lot of times people just take it for granted it's easy. You go play JUCO football. I was a junior college guy, only because I didn't know really where I wanted to go. I had just come back. My father had just been stationed 4 years in Japan, came back to Texas, had no idea where I wanted to go. I went junior college, not because of athletics, believe me. However, sometimes it's not always that simple, but you said the day you walked on campus, it was pretty comfortable, huh?
It was the transition from junior college. I feel like from junior college, it's more of like, you have to deal with what you have. Like, you're not privileged with the stuff that you get when you go somewhere on a full scholarship in a D1 program. So it was very humbling, because coming out of high school, I wasn't really highly recruited at all. So junior college was my route. And then it was focusing there, because you see a lot of guys go, and you see a lot of guys come in and go all the time, just because it's the mental part of being there and what you have around you. Like, there wasn't much around, but the coaching staff at my junior college that I went to, it was all love. Like, I still talk to those guys today, and I just feel like when I came to Baylor, it was, it was just more to do, and it's just a better atmosphere, and the guys, it was all love when I came in, so it was never like a hate thing or he hasn't been here when we were hustling doing it. It was always just love, and it was a great thing being in that program.
When did you actually have your surgery for the torn labrum?
In August.
Oh, so you're just a couple of months by. You have to. Yeah. I'm not trying to compare mine to yours. I had rotator cuff 5 years ago, and I'm telling you right now, you know this. Everything that's tedious is as important as anything you do, right? When it comes to physical therapy.
Yes.
Every single movement.
Every movement. It's like when you don't have an injury, and then when you injure something, you like don't take it for granted after anymore, because you see how important the shoulder is after having the surgery and what you have to do, and how the shoulder blades is a big part of the shoulder, like the socket and all the muscles around of the like injury you have. So I go into therapy, do what I have to do. I'm supposed to be scheduled for an hour. I'm here for 2 hours and a half because of the extra stuff that they put me through. Because I told them my situation of what I'm trying to get back into doing. Mm-hmm. And then I do stuff outside of the days I'm not there, go to the gym, do the things that I do in therapy and do it in the gym. So I just get the extra work in. So just to help my recovery. So
good for you, man.
It's definitely something I take seriously. I know a lot about injuries, and if I get injured, I try to take the injury and the PT like it's my job, so I won't miss a day ever, even if I'm sick or anything. Like, I'll still go in and try to get something done.
What do you think of Baylor right now, David Rand? I know it's been a rough start, but I saw that you tweeted, Baylor game day on Saturday. What do you like? What do you like about what they're doing right now?
I like that there's guys out there that want to be better, and I think that they're trying to still follow the tradition of Baylor football. And I know it's been a rebuilding year because of the new coaching, and that's how it's been ever since I left. It's just been a rebuilding. But I think everything will get better with time. But I think they're on the right track. I still think they're going to have a winning season, even though, they just got to put the pieces together. But I'm still excited. Every year of Baylor football, I'm tuned in. I still want to go to a game. I haven't been down there since 2016, since I graduated, but I was looking forward to the win against Texas, of course. I'm not a big Texas fan.
Hey, join the club, Jarell. Join the club, man. We've got plenty of people part of that club. Yeah, you definitely need to make it down when you get a chance to, when maybe things calm down a little bit. But one of the things they've been dealing with, they had the great year last year, get to the Sugar Bowl, playing the Big 12 title game, and fall just short, and then they had the coaching change again. But, Jarell, because of the COVID protocols and all that, they've had a different lineup on the offensive line for every single game this year. They've had every single week different guys missing on the O-line or missing at that position. Can you begin to kind of explain for folks how difficult it is to build cohesiveness in that unit in particular, the O-line, when every week it's a new shuffling of bodies, and not because of, just practicing, but because of guys being held out, because of being sick and all that. I mean, how difficult is that to do?
I think that's very difficult because with the O-line, if you remember when I was there, all of us on that line had a good relationship, and we all trusted each other no matter what. And we all knew the playbook. So I think it really comes down to knowing the plays, trusting the guy next to you, and then just having people trusting you that, you got to be confident going into the game, knowing the game plan, and just studying film. But if you keep, I think, switching it up, how do you know that starting center trusts that new right guard that came in?
Right.
I mean, I'm not there to know, but that could be something because I know when I first had my first start, it was kind of rough, still trying to learn the plays and getting used to playing in a big crowd. But it's just something to adjust to. I think the best thing to do is when you're in practice is playing with the ones. I think that's when I learned the most is getting reps with the ones because they get the most reps. And it just shows you a bigger picture. But it's definitely a hard thing switching up people in the O-line because you want to have a solid group that's, that all trust each other, that's all instinct.
Jarell, it's been great, man. I'm glad we got a chance to visit with you.
Yes,
Anything
sir.
else, guys?
No, I think that's good. And
Yeah.
I was going to ask him too about just, the switching up is one thing, but when you're not getting those reps because you can't practice because you're in quarantine for 2 weeks and all that,
Yeah.
I mean, those reps are highly important. So hopefully they get to, stay free and clear and get those reps in the next few weeks.
I hope so.
Yeah, Jarell, be good. Take care of yourself. Good luck. Hopefully at the start of the year, things open up for you as well. Great to talk to you, man. It's been fun. Really is, and sharing and reminiscing with you.
it.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure. I appreciate you guys having me.
Really do. You as well. Jarell Broxton out of Maryland, from Gettysburg, Maryland, joined us on SicEm365 Radio. Thanks for his time. Really enjoyed just a short conversation I had with him to set it up as we continue to go back. Ron Francis, former great defensive back, among those great years back in the Grant Taft years. He'll join us. James was a part of yesterday's